Please stand clear.
There she is, Zarutska, sitting
Train is about to move.
on a train, completely to herself, Ukrainian refugee, man behind her. Opens the knife. It's a lot harder to swallow the pill of a senseless murder when it's one that was entirely preventable. And here's the thing, when you look at what the left, their policies are not just designed to protect bad people. They are designed around protecting people from facing accountability for entirely preventable murders. Do you understand that? So it brings us to the next topic. How did you determine that? Well, look, you can't just determine it immediately all of the time. But if someone has like a record of, 1, 2, 14 serious offenses, maybe you stop thinking about their rights because at a certain point in time, they forfeit them and start thinking about how you protect the rights of all the other people who didn't violate the law and rights of others 1, 2, 3, 8, 12, 14 times. And when you see this story in the media, I'm going to be straightforward. Race has a lot to do with it. Not melanin makes people violent or causes crime, but the media coverage of this. The race of the perpetrator and the race of the victim will determine if they cover it at all. They're not interested in reporting the facts to you so you can make informed decisions. They don't care about honoring the dead. They care about pushing an agenda to engineer you so that you are more malleable, controllable, to bend to their will. And they don't want you to believe your lying eyes and your lying ears. With Iryna Zarutska, let's be honest. You watched it and you thought the same thing that pretty much every American who watched this thought.
Especially when you're trying to just keep to yourself. Ain't it funny every time it's because of mental health?
How you doing, sir?
It's always the random acts.
So, let's just get...
Yeah.
Ambush predators.
Hey. Hey, we've covered, is it 13% of the population, over 50% of the violent crimes or murders? We'll bring up that stat in a little bit. It does matter. But in this case, we don't even need to use the stats at large. 14 arrests? So if you haven't seen this story, I warn you, the whole thing is disturbing. We're not going to show anything graphic because that footage hasn't been released. And the real story is the media's coverage therein and the mayor and the city council. And I would apply also that same lens, right, your skeptical lens, to people like Rand Paul and to people like the Krasensteins who constantly favor violent felons. Iryna Zarutska, this is an actual tragedy. This woman is dead. So let's be honest, leftist policy now, there's no doubt, it kills people. There are many people who are dead because we didn't simply follow that rational part of our brain because we were told that it's wrong. We were told that it's a violation of civil rights. It's not. We were told that it's racist. It's not. Do you want to save lives or do you want to play PC football? Let's roll the story.
Please stand clear.
There she is, Zarutska, sitting
Train is about to move.
on a train, completely to herself, Ukrainian refugee, man behind her. Opens the knife. Look at that. Look at that. Now here's the thing. No one got to say goodbye. She's coming home from work. Ukrainian refugee, came here to get away from crime, to get away from war, in a city with liberal policy. Now here's the thing. No one got to say goodbye because we couldn't have stopped. No one could have stopped that right there. Could have been stopped maybe one of 14 times before that, where the man was caught violating the law violently in some instances. And by the way, this isn't a new story. I believe the video footage is what is new. We covered this here on August 26th. Friday, a Ukrainian refugee. So, hey, I know, hey, left, right? You all have the Ukrainian flag, so you should care about this. Ukrainian refugee stabbed, killed, waiting for the light rail. This happened in Charlotte, by the way, North Carolina.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kyiv.
Yeah, no. It was a homeless man named DeCarlos Brown Jr. And the left wants you to be afraid of so many things. Be afraid of COVID. Be afraid of the unvaccinated. Be afraid of Trump voters. Be afraid of systemic discrimination. Be afraid of J.D. Vance. Be afraid of people who speak on social media who may radicalize you. But I will tell you this. You shouldn't live your life fearfully. You should live it cautiously, skeptically. But you should be afraid of the left's policies. You should be afraid of liberal judges. You should be afraid of that coming to your town. Because by the time it hits you, by the time it comes to your doorstep, it's too late. People are dying as a direct result, not correlation, causation, 100% leftist policies, soft on crime. This girl, this woman is dead among many others because of liberal judges. This isn't some kind of, you should be afraid. I call this the tale of the serial violent offender who could have been stopped, but people are...
You could just snort that up.
Yeah.
Did it get in your drink?
Thanks for lending that to us, Josh.
I tested it earlier.
Let me give you the killer. How could we have seen this coming? Okay. DeCarlos Brown Jr., black male, 14 prior arrests, including armed robbery, assault, all kinds of threats. All right. So at least he was arrested. We could say the police were doing their job to some degree.
Jeez.
Let's look at the judges. So January 19, 2025, Magistrate Judge Teresa Stokes released DeCarlos with zero bail based on a, quote, written promise to appear.
Wow.
And this is the thing where if you were a child, you would be more sensible than this judge. I can tell you that if this was explained, if I tried to explain this to a 5-year-old, say, yeah, well, that person actually, that person committed burglary, that person stabbed somebody, that person committed serious violent crimes. Say, well, Dad, isn't he in jail? Well, no, actually, he didn't have to go to jail. Well, why not? Because he said that he would come back. Can I do that with timeout? Of course not.
Yeah, nobody could. Listen, I want to go into one more thing really quickly before you move on because nobody's talking about this. So our research team found this. There was a motion in July, and it's a lot of it is redacted, the actual motion, but DeCarlos' lawyer made a motion that DeCarlos was not competent to proceed. Yet, despite this motion, he was allowed to stay released. This on the heels of what was reported by, I think, Newsweek, and we can pull up a source for this. We'll have the guys find it, in 2020, where he might have been diagnosed as schizophrenic. So it's not like this information wasn't available potentially to the guy's lawyer comes in January and says, this guy's not fit to proceed. Yeah, he can stay out.
Yeah.
Not fit to
If you're not
proceed.
fit to proceed, you're not fit to write down a written promise.
So if I'm not fit to proceed, then the what happens to the case? It just gets thrown out? Oh, it's okay. You can do whatever you want.
Stay out on the street.
I'll show back up. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. You can't believe him. Why? Well, because he's absolutely insane and violently insane. So I want you to think of this magistrate judge, Teresa Stokes, okay? I want you to picture her in your mind's eye. All right, bring it up.
I was picturing different strokes.
Bet you can't guess what she looks like. By the way, this is something that's pretty important. Without a female voting bloc in this country, you don't have soft on crime. You understand that, right? That all comes from this false sense of empathy that I can change him. Our grandfathers knew that if someone committed acts of violence repeatedly, you put them in hard labor until they died. They were not allowed to be out in civilized society because they were a threat. The law exists to, as effectively as possible, protect innocent people from violence, as well as ensure equal rights and due process under the law. But you can't apply this law that's founded in natural rights, right, in human natural rights, and then deny logic, defy reason, and go, well, yeah, sure, but the laws exist so that this person can be caught and arrested 14 times and write an IOU for a jail sentence. Let's go to the mayor.
Before we do, hold on, this judge. Sorry. There's a lot of stuff that was happening that we were trying to confirm. And I don't know that they have a confirmation on this portion of it, but people are reporting right now online that this judge does run a mental health rehabilitation. I don't know if you call it a company or a center. So there's a lot of question about this person being released who has mental illness and the connection between that center and this person and this judge's proclivities. There's a lot of questions being asked.
So
right
it's
now.
possible.
Listen, I'm going to be very clear. I cannot say definitively. I have not seen the evidence for that, but we do know for sure that this judge is now tied to him from that January issue.
Guess how the judge votes? We don't have that confirmed. Comment below. Take a stab at it.
Oh, nice play on words.
Let's go to the mayor. Now, I don't want you to show the mayor yet, but the mayor of Charlotte is a woman, V. Lyles. This was the response. What I have come to understand is that he has long struggled with mental health and appears to have suffered a crisis. We will never arrest our way out issues such as homelessness and mental health. She also went on to say that mental health needed to be treated with the same compassion as other diseases like cancer or heart disease. And then she praised the media for suppressing the video. We'll get to more of that. She wrote, I want to thank our media partners and community members who have chosen not to repost or share the footage out of respect for Iryna's family. And of course, out of respect for her political chances, right? Because it doesn't help when you actually see the faces of the victims because of the environment that you fostered and created. So the mayor responded with, we're never going to arrest our way out of homelessness. Mental health needs, keep in mind, this girl, Zarutska, is dead. A woman was stabbed to death on the train.
Brutally,
without warning. It's happened 14 other times. The priority of this mayor is to say, we need to be compassionate. Is that the culture you want to live in? I am compassionate. To her, she didn't need to die. That could have been stopped. And this isn't like a Minority Report thing where we need to travel in time and see if someone could commit a crime in the future. They did it 14 times. We're not even talking 3-strike policy. I don't know. With this one, if we would have had an 8-strike policy, Zarutska would be alive.
I'll be liberal. 10 strikes.
10-strike policy. Now, I want you to imagine what this, please be compassionate. Please understand we can't arrest our way out of it. I want you to imagine, what do you think this mayor looks like? Huh? Exactly. Yeah, you have it about right. There you go.
I had it a little different.
Close enough.
I had the hair color off.
We'll ballpark it.
I had more of a natural hair color.
It's all changed since Beyonce put on some Levi's. Then you have a response from some people at City Council. Here's a Charlotte City Councilwoman, first name Dimple.
What?
This City Councilwoman took time to celebrate her birthday before discussing the crime. Right before, so the priority was, oh, cake, look, we want to show, kind of like the DNC when they were nominating Kamala Harris. It was all just a bunch of celebrities. Come on, let's get the party started.
Where's the joy?
One second, how about we have a democratic process beforehand? Want you to imagine what this City Councilwoman looks like. Correct. Yeah. Dimple
Which one?
Ajmira.
Oh, okay. I can tell now, Ajmira, yeah.
And she's part of the city council, of course, that sits under the mayor, right, who says we need to be compassionate and has done nothing to overhaul the system that allows a man like DeCarlos Brown Jr. to be back out on the streets 14 times. And the city councilwoman, though, says, yeah, we have that. Okay, but most important, she said this in 2017, Trump supporters have no place in Charlotte politics.
Any supporters that have supported Trump and all his cronies should be voted out of our council.
Yeah, how about you be voted out? How about the mayor is voted out? How about that judge is disbarred because your policies have resulted in people dead? And it's not just, I get it, you're never going to stop all violent crime. I understand that. Evil will always live amongst you. But we could start with people who've committed crimes 14 times. I don't think I'm asking a lot. To say, all right, 1, 2, 3 violent crimes. Like we call that, it's like it's the grace crime. We're getting it to 14, and these people are more concerned with, well, the majority of Americans who voted for Donald Trump. And of course, you would think, because of the black perpetrator and the Ukrainian refugee victim, the legacy media, right, Toolman, they've been hammering this story nonstop.
Listen.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. The alternative press, PBS, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, BBC, Washington Post, Reuters, MSNBC have all covered this precisely 0 times. We started covering it the 25th. NPR, there was one audio sort of blurb on August 26th. CNN did it once. They did it once this morning at 7:37 a.m., one post.
After being called out by everybody online for not covering it.
Well, they finally started covering it this morning with a few blurbs here and there.
Well, they're more concerned with attacking Trump for wanting to bring law and order to liberal cities.
Yeah, of course. They're covering that wall to wall right now.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe bringing law and order would include, come on, you've been arrested 13 times. We're not going to let you back out on the streets. We're going to continue discussing this, by the way. If you're not a Rumble Premium member, we're not able to say any of this without your support. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. $99 a year to get this hand-etched mug, everything ad-free, and 100% more show. Or try it for $9 a month. I'm going to just sort of foreshadow here. Here's the fix before we get to the next clip. The fix is disbar judges based on the repeat offenses. Meaning, if they follow a soft on crime policy and the people they let out harm Americans, this judge can never practice again. I know you can't fix the whole system because you have prosecutors and you have defendants and they have to do their job, and I understand due process, but the judge is the one who issues final judgment. And so if a judge lets a repeat offender out 1, 2, 3, 14 times, they should never be allowed to practice judgment in keeping you safe again, because they've shown horrible judgment. Kind of like a performance review. So judges, disbarred. They can no longer touch a gavel. They can't see a courtroom for the rest of their life if this is an entirely preventable crime. Number 2, I want to see a culture where everyone conceals and carries. And I want to see the fast lane for the Good Samaritan law, meaning the Daniel Pennies of the world, meaning the people who try and stop violent crime. Because what does a Good Samaritan law mean if, you can be charged if you don't help somebody, but if you help somebody and it turns out that the person wasn't quite violent enough, you can also be charged. Meaning if anyone on that train got up and bang, 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 reload, bang, 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 that person shouldn't have to spend a dime. Disbar judges, culturally, all of you start carrying, and we need a fast lane for Good Samaritans. We want a culture that encourages people to shoot back so that criminals are afraid. Instead, we've had a media, again, complete blackout, cover this 0 times. Compare that with the Marine, Daniel Penny, who stopped this crazy man in the subway threatening to, I believe, kill everyone. Remember that?
Neely was a well-known Michael Jackson impersonator, seen here in this video. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine noting he'd seen him perform many times and always would make people smile.
There was no attack. Mr. Neely did not attack anyone. He did not touch anyone. He did not hit anyone. But he was choked to death, and that can't stand.
Jordan Neely was crying out that he was hungry and thirsty when he was fatally attacked on the train by a 24-year-old former Marine named Daniel Penny.
Growing tensions in New York City over the death of a subway rider. Protesters swarming the subway station, disrupting service, demanding justice for Jordan Neely.
He wasn't a homeless person in distress. He was a professional artist who stopped traffic in New York City with his talent and his abilities.
Jordan was not annoying someone on the train. Jordan was screaming for help.
Just looking at that video, you know it's wrong. No one has the right to take the life of another person.
Come again, stupid? No one has the right to take the life of another person?
Really?
Death penalty? I guess you're against that. Deadly use of force? What about take the life of someone who's in the process of trying to kill an innocent person?
Tell that to a rapist in New York.
Yeah.
Kathy Hochul. Tell that to a rape victim.
You know what else stuck out?
You have no right.
Stuck out to me there? It said, he was screaming, he was hungry and thirsty. Who gives a shit? That's what my kids do if I put them in a timeout, right? All of a sudden they're hoping for a call from the governor. Like, no, you can't, whatever it is. You can't push your sister. You can't push your brother. And tell me, but I'm hungry, but I'm thirsty. I go, well, then stay hungry and thirsty until you apologize. That's something that someone is doing because they want to get out of dealing with the consequences of their actions. Screaming, threatening, and then, okay, we're going to restrain you. Oh, man, I'm thirsty. Tough shit.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, they want you to wait right up until the moment. Somebody can be screaming. They can seem out of their mind. They can cover themselves with feces. They want you to wait right up to the moment where they try to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Or they try to stab your wife.
Try isn't good enough. It has to be done.
Yeah. No, this is my whole point. Like at that point, you restrained. That's the easiest part of what you get.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This whole culture of you just got to deal with it. Again, it's prioritizing these people over us.
Yep. And by the way, they're doing it right now on CNN. Watch. Right now. They're prioritizing criminals running rampant in Chicago.
first days of the second Trump administration, Tom Homan was in Chicago doing a major immigration enforcement action. And on the military front, I'll just note, we have reported months ago that the point was to at some point bring the U.S. military when it came to immigration enforcement. This has been top of mind for them for a long time. They've had discussions internally about how to move National Guard from one state to operate in another state. So this has been part of their planning all along. It just comes down to how do you do it and does it stand up legally?
Yeah, and then the question is whether, go ahead.
Can I just add one more thing to piggyback off of what Aisha said? There's also a question of what the facts are. I mean, the president repeatedly saying D.C. is now a crime-free zone is just not true. I pushed back on that gently last night when we were talking and said, Mr. President, there is still crime in D.C.
Yeah, but was there a lot more crime? Were a lot more people dying because you've had your policy unfettered? Were a lot more people dying in D.C.? And do you think that if they send in the National Guard and try anything different, there will be more or fewer murders every weekend in Chicago? They never start. They never start with the jumping off point. Hey, maybe you don't deserve to die. How about that? You live in the United States. Before we talk about any other rights, first one, right to life. You have the right to not be assaulted and not be killed. It's almost like that's the primary function of government. You know, external threats like terrorists and known drug cartels. Krasenstein and Rand Paul say they need due process. Right. And internal threats like gangs and serial violent offenders. No. Due process. Come on, guys. We got to make sure we're not animals here. What kind of society would we be if we put a man behind bars after his first or 13th crime?
Yeah, and look, the Rand Paul guys, it's worse than that. It's when he says, "Oh, they might strike us." They already were.
Yeah.
This guy was planning and carrying out the murder of American forces anywhere that he could find them. And you're worried that if we take him out, maybe other people will get pissed off and attack us? Actually, what might happen is other people might have somebody taste their food for a while. Other people might make sure that we don't know what car they're driving in for a while that are terrorists. And they may put their head back down in the sand for just a little bit. You don't just let people continue to kill you and they go, no, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's the one case where you can look at it and go, of course that guy should die immediately. Of course, the minute the missiles lock on, push the button.
I'm going to tell my son that if he ever has a bully in school, that he can't bounce his head off the pavement because another bully will just take his place.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yes.
Sometimes bullies see you make an example of one and they move on.
Yes.
Matter of fact, that's the most likely scenario if you do it effectively and violently enough. And by that, I mean morally. It's the morally... actually, it's not a more moral decision. If you are dealing with a violent bully who is harming people, and you don't violently deal with them to eliminate the threat, I believe that you're actually abdicating your moral duty.
Yes.
That's what we're supposed to do. So why the silence on this murder? Well, the victim, Iryna Zarutska, is a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, very attractive white European woman. By the way, also dressing down, so clearly wasn't trying to grab a bunch of attention there on the public or the train, the rail she was riding on. She's not a charity case. She was working. She was coming back from work, contributing. So migrated here to avoid a war zone, came here and was contributing, went to work.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if she was black and he was white? You know what? If she was a he and was black and the killer was white, what do you think would happen? You know, I can tell you what would happen because George Floyd died after many minutes of being treated very charitably by the police, putting him in a car, loosening the handcuffs, giving him air conditioning, getting him a drink. And it still was seen as one of the greatest evils of our country, equal to slavery. Or Mike Brown, who had just robbed a convenience store only moments prior and was trying to grab Officer Darren Wilson's gun and repeatedly hitting him in the face, and he was shot as a result, and he was venerated. This is an actual woman who had done nothing wrong. You can't even argue hands up, don't shoot, because there was no conflict. She wasn't an activist. She wasn't in a gray area even. She was a completely helpless victim whose death is the direct result of a corrupt, you want to talk systemic corruption? What kind of a system do we have that allows a violent offender off 14 times to kill someone like this? Also, it comes with really bad timing, right? Because you see this on CNN, they're more concerned. They really want to make sure that you know Donald Trump's a fascist because he wants to cut down on crime. Crime is down. People are safer. Read this from Axios. They have stabbing fuels MAGA's crime message. Oh no! I'm more concerned with the stabbing. It's me, Mr. Old-Fashioned.
Unbelievable.
The article writes the rising number of surveillance cameras in public spaces, including on Charlotte's light rail, has become an accelerant in these cases, a big accelerant. The video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media, a visual counterpoint to statistics showing crime decreases. Let me give you a few lies here. Crime decreases. Wait a second, are you talking about post-COVID? We saw a huge rise. Has it gone down to pre-COVID levels? It depends on the town. Not in D.C., not in Chicago, not quite certain about Charlotte. But if you're saying, hey, it's half of a 300% increase, it's still more than it was before. And you know what else? It's a lot harder to swallow the pill of a senseless murder when it's one that was entirely preventable. And here's the thing. When you look at what the left, their policies are not just designed to protect bad people. They are designed around protecting people from facing accountability for entirely preventable murders. Do you understand that? Abrego Garcia, human trafficker. Let me ask you, you think human traffickers are more or less likely to kill somebody than non-human traffickers? When you look at illegal aliens, for example, taking over entire towns, part of Tren-Arawa, however you pronounce it, I don't care because they're subhuman scum in Colorado. Do you think those people are more or less likely to kill innocent Americans? When you have sanctuary cities and people come in here and they're completely off the books, often running drugs and contribute to crime more than the average American citizen, despite what the left tells you, do you think those people are more or less likely to kill innocent Americans? When you have catch and release and no cash bail and a revolving door as you had in New York City, do you think people who've already committed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, sometimes 20-something violent crimes, do you think they're more likely or less likely to kill an innocent person? These people didn't die because there are a few bad apples. These people like Zarutska, died because these bad apples that were known, inspected, bad apple, thrown back out with the rest of you. Entirely preventable. Why does the left always protect those who harm you?
Now, why is Axios publishing this story right now? It says it's a visual counterpoint to the statistics that crime is going not fast enough, not low enough. What is it? I don't even care that crime is going down.
And they're tweaked numbers.
The direction of crime right now doesn't even matter to this story. The visual counterpoint, yeah, you get to see evil.
And what's their slant? That we should get rid of these cameras? What's their point?
Well, they don't like the fact that the public sees it.
This influx of surveillance videos is really dangerous.
Let me ask you this. How many videos of alligator Alcatraz did you post?
Right.
How many videos of poor Abrego Garcia, who knows speak English, crying, did you post? So you have a problem with a video of an MS-13 proven gang member. Just look at the tattoos, right? We covered that for a long... You have a problem showing that he's a gang member. You don't have a problem with him saying, I don't speak English, and feeling bad for him. But you have a problem with the video showing that he beat his wife? You have a problem with the video being shown with him trafficking human beings? Hey, did you have a problem with I Can't Breathe, George Floyd being shown? Or do you have a problem with the lead up to it being shown? What videos? I'm confused. What videos are we allowed to show? Did you have a problem with there are fine people on both sides being shown? Or did you have a problem with the video that was 8 seconds longer where President Trump said, I'm not talking about neo-Nazis or white supremacists who should be condemned totally. So you're very selective in which videos you have a problem with. The issue is, I actually think the videos, as far as journalistic merit, are most valuable when they give American citizens the information and ability to make more informed decisions, especially as it relates to protecting life and limb. I think those are probably most appropriate. It's almost like it's the primary job of journalists. I'll give you the solution here. Hope someone's listening because I know they were on H-1Bs. Judges, gone. Soft on crime, you let someone out. If they commit another violent crime, if they harm anyone, and they're out there because you allowed them to be out there, whether it's a written IOU like this case or a shortened sentence, you no longer are a judge. You're not allowed to see a courtroom, period.
Think of it like malpractice with a doctor.
Yep.
You get sued for malpractice, you lose your right to be a doctor.
Gone. Done. No more. And then we'll replace them with judges that use good judgment. And then you, right now personally, start carrying a firearm. I want everyone on that on that train. Or Daniel Penny, I want everyone on that subway carrying. Could you have stopped it? No, this was completely random violence. As far as in the moment, you'd probably be very confused. And this guy was only emboldened to commit that violence because he was so fearless as it related to consequences from society or the legal system. But some of those other violent crimes were committed in public.
They could have taken out the trash for us, though.
Yeah. Imagine.
Seriously, at that point, who knows he's going to stop? Nobody knows he's going to stop. You pull out your gun, bang, bang, bang. Here you go.
Yep.
Here's a medal. Thank you very much for taking this piece of crap off the streets. I don't care if it's because he's schizophrenic or not. He's killing people.
No, one stab and that's it.
So armed robbery and assault. So he committed an armed robbery, right? Assault. He threatened people. So let me just do let's say that there's an average of, if you are in a public setting, whether it's a subway, a bus, in a restaurant, wherever you're committing an armed robbery, let's say there's an average of 5 people. Okay, over the course of 10 crimes. All right, so now you're looking at 50. What are the chances that one of them is concealed carrying? I'd like to see those odds go up. If 10% of this country is carrying firearms, guess what? This guy runs into someone who blows him away before he gets to kill a 23-year-old girl. How about that? So judges, gone. Culture of concealed carry. And more importantly, along with the judges, the systemic issue, we need a fast track, an express lane for Good Samaritans. We don't need people being afraid to be the next Daniel Penny. We need people going, well, hey, even if I'm a little bit wrong on this one, at least I'll get the Daniel Penny treatment where I get a medal and I don't have to pay a dime because I helped save American citizens. And I know what you're going to say. We're going to have some gray area. We're going to have some people who are a little bit trigger happy. I'm okay with it. You know why? We've tried it the other way for so long.
Yes.
Judges gone, start carrying your guns, and we need a system of laws that rewards Good Samaritans who don't abandon their moral duty to protect those vulnerable among us. Shoot them. Should be the policy from our systems. In other words, if people have a question and go to a judge, so we now have a judge in this alternative universe here. We now have a judge. We now have the law. And someone goes, hey, Your Honor, I have a question. If I'm on a bus or if I'm on a subway and I'm legally carrying a firearm and I see someone beating up a lady, or I see someone threatening to kill everyone on the subway, or I see them shoving around a lady or mugging someone, am I allowed to, and the judge can respond without hesitation, shoot them and come see me? There's your alternative universe. Sound better? Or does it sound too extreme? Or, you can keep playing PC football and deny the realities.
Especially when you're trying to just keep to yourself. Ain't it funny? Every time it's because of mental health.
How you doing, sir?
It's always the random acts.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, you can click around and watch one of these videos on YouTube, or head on over to Rumble and subscribe, where I am live every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Live on Rumble. YouTube is dead. Rumble did it. And on Rumble, you can say